Welcome to Review Rewind, the show where a couple of friends watch movies of old and aim to figure out if the reviewers were spot on or a little off. I am Mike.
And I am Tristan.
And this week, we're talking about Dark Knight Rises. Come on. Follow along, people. Jeez Louise. Hi, Tristan.
I'm Batman.
Oh, sorry. Batman. What's your night spot?
My night.
Hey.
I am in my new place. I've had a couple days of scrambles. Didn't know where my computer was. Didn't know where my mic was, but I'm here. Hey. And so I think my bright spot is that I'm here right now.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice to be like settled. Well, I mean like moved. Getting the move part. You're not settled.
Not settled, but like the most stressful part is over.
Yeah. Now it's the annoying part.
Yeah. Figuring out where do things go? Where did I put things?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How about you? What's your bright spot?
I got a fat guy chair.
Oh.
I have an incredible. I don't know if it's my center of gravity. One, I am a heavy person, but then two, I feel like my center of gravity is pretty spot on. So no matter what kind of chair I sit in, whatever it is, it's gonna break eventually. And I feel like I have that problem more than the average person. And so I got a chair that has like a very high max capacity on it. And we'll see. But it's comfy. It feels sturdy. It's like the sturdiest chair I've ever had.
That's good.
But the last chair I had said it was supposed to be like high capacity. I don't think it was. Because the gas in the hydraulic broke. So it just always does the little
slow sync.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't get that. If I do, I'm going to throw this chair through the door of Staples. So we'll see.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Will it?
Nope.
The credits. I'll write something eventually. Director, Christopher Nolan. His last one.
Last Juan?
Producer, Emma Thomas, Christopher Nolan, Charles Roven. Was that the guy who produced the last one too? Or I feel like the names change every single one.
Charles Rove.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I just looked at our other script.
You got there faster than me.
Screenwritten by Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan. It is a Warner Brothers picture. This time, the only production company seems to be Syncopy.
Hey, have you ever noticed that Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother, does not have a British accent?
I've never noticed that because I don't think I've ever heard him talk.
Yeah. One of our listeners actually
pointed that out.
Messaged me and told me that he decided to like make his accent go away so he sounds American, where Christopher Nolan did not do that. So,
because cis white men, the most discriminated people in the U.S. because of their British accents.
Yes, exactly.
That's such a. I would just love to hear like the mindset behind it. That's all. I don't have a opinion one way or another, but I'm just curious of like what was the catalyst that made you go, I'm gonna lose it. It'd just be really funny if prior to him, turning off his accent, he was just like, "Hello, Mike. My name is Jonathan."
just
like the heaviest accent, and now he just talks like, oh, I'd love it if he went to like a different American accent.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, my name is Jonathan Nolan. You're like, what the heck?
Yeah. Apparently, maybe, I mean, I also haven't heard him, so maybe I need to look this up myself. But apparently he's a little bit more Chicagoan in the way that he sounds.
I feel like this really has presented a realization that I don't really know anything about either one of them. I know Christopher Nolan's like British. I've heard him talk and he's British. I don't know where he grew up. I don't know his background. I don't know any of that. And then even more so his brother. Oh, he's a British American. But did he Okay, now we're just going to figure this out. Hold on. Because this is like the last one for a while. So, okay, Nolan was born. This is Jonathan. He was born in 1976, so he's only like 10 years older than me. In London, the youngest of three boys. His father, Brendan James Nolan, is British, not British, is British, and his mother, Christina Lynn, is American. Oh, so they're both half British, half American. He was raised in both London and Chicago. Nolan attended Georgetown University, where he majored in English and was a staff writer for the Hoya. And what is that true of? Did they both? Let's see. Christopher Nolan, born 1970. Oh, so he's like 6 years older than his brother. Why did they give him way more detail and Jonathan not? It's the same detail. So in Westminster, London, so they give him like a distinct. What do they call it? Boroughs?
I think so.
I don't know. I have no clue. His father, Brendan James Nolan, and now here's more detail, was a British advertising executive of Irish descent who worked as a creative director. His mother, Christina Jensen, was an American flight attendant from East Evanston, Illinois. She would later work as a teacher of English. He has an elder brother, Matthew, and a younger brother, Jonathan, who is also a filmmaker.
What's Matthew been doing?
So they would spend their summers in Evanston. Nolan also spent time living in Chicago during his youth, and he holds both UK and US citizenship. Interesting. I'm just curious if they both had the same, like, upbringing, in that it sounds like they went to school in England and then came here over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
That's such an interesting move.
Interesting.
I'd really like to know what. I don't really even care what he sounds like. I'm just curious what his, like, has anyone ever presented it to both of them to say, Christopher, why do you keep the English accent? Because you've both had similar upbringing. And Jonathan, why do you not? Now, I will say age is a factor in there because 6 years can make a bit of difference. And the experience could have changed slightly because if you think about it, when Christopher would have graduated high school, per se, Jonathan would have been in middle school still. So those are two completely different experiences in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. What? Wait. 94? His IMDb has different information.
Well,
oh no. Jonathan went to high school in Illinois. He attended the Loyola Academy in Wilmette, Illinois, graduating in 1994. I was trying to do the math on that. I'm like, is that math correct? And he would have been 18, yes. And then he went to Georgetown in D.C. So he spent, it seems like, his upper education in America.
Yeah, I was just looking at this thing that said that he spent most of his schooling in America while Christopher did most of his education in England. So that would
there you go. That would explain it completely.
Be a big part of it.
Yeah, and at home, if you have, look, I have a little bit of experience with this. I spoke Spanish at home. My mom did not speak English for the longest of times, and even when she did speak English, it was not good. Yet, outside of not knowing idioms and maybe certain words, I think it's hard to tell that I speak Spanish or that I had that kind of upbringing based on how I speak. So, you know, what your parents speak, which if he did a lot of his education in the U.S. and had a British father, wouldn't necessarily drive him to have a British accent. But if Christopher's doing his education in England, I think that could motivate that a little more. I also think of like Mike Myers, because Mike Myers, both his parents are British and had fully British accents, but he grew up in Canada, so he doesn't really have an accent.
Yeah,
except for the Canadian part.
We actually know somebody that we used to work with that his parents were British,
and he didn't sound a bit.
He didn't sound British whatsoever.
And wasn't it too? He couldn't do a British accent.
He couldn't even do an accent, which I think is hilarious.
All right, back on topic. What a great side note. Like,
yeah.
All righty. PG-13. Intense sequences of violence, intense sequences of action, language, some sensuality. Genre: action, adventure, mystery, and thriller, fantasy. This is the first one that has mystery and thriller.
Interesting.
Which you would expect Batman to be more mystery thriller. So interesting that this one. Is it just the plot twist at the end? That's what they're. I was like, I don't know if this is really a mystery outside of they just don't know who the trigger man is until the end of the movie.
Yeah, it doesn't feel very mystery thriller.
Well, thriller, I guess thriller could be defined as like you have a something leading to the precipice of a big moment that could be dramatic action wise.
Yeah.
The annihilation of a city is pretty big. So
yeah. So I think it's one of those combo things where it's really a thriller, but mystery thrillers together, similar to how like comedy and musical or whatever is in the same category for the Oscars.
Right.
So
yes, that is always weird. You know what's weirder? It's 100 years old and they're still not like, hey, we could change it. Alrighty. Released July 20th, 2012. So 4 years after the second one. Budget $250 million. Grossed in the US $448 million. Opening weekend made $160 million.
Oof.
That is a great opening weekend. Gross worldwide over $1 billion. $1,114,976,407. I just wanted to make sure people knew I know how to read numbers because sometimes I feel like they don't think that. I have imaginary people judging me. Alrighty, starring Christian Bale. Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman. Can you say Michael Caine without having the urge to say it like Michael Caine?
No, I'm thinking the name and I
I could feel the back of my throat trying to like change my voice a little, and I'm like, don't do it.
Michael
Caine. Oh, shoot. Gary Oldman, Anne Hathaway, Tom Hardy, Marion Cotillard. I forget how to say her name.
Cotillard?
Yeah, I think.
Because it's the double
She's
L?
French background, I think. Anyway, Joseph Gordon-Levitt or Levy. Morgan Freeman. You know what? I should just do them all in Michael
Cotillard.
Cotillard.
Yeah.
So it is like a Y sound.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Anyway. Now we transition to the Recap Rewind, where we will rewind and recap the movie for you this week. To end the Nolanverse, we are going to hear it from our one and only Tristan.
That's me.
That's you. So Tristan. Okay, she is French. That's what I thought. I'm obsessed. Why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Mike, do you ever start writing these things and then it ends up going in a completely different direction than what you originally thought you were going to do, and you just end up somewhere else?
Painfully all the time. So
I was originally thinking that I might do something similar to what you did with Batman and Robin, where we discussed what the movie could have been. And maybe there's still time for that later, but there's way too much to cover. So if you remember the scene from The Princess Bride, where Wesley is brought back from being almost dead and asked what's going on, and Inigo says, "Let me explain." "No, there's too much. Let me sum up." Well, The Dark Knight Rises is nearly 3 hours long, and knowing how the last two episodes have gone, we're going to be here for a while. So let me sum up. It's been 8 years since the incident. Gotham is on the mend, believing in the legacy of Harvey Dent, and that Batman, who is wanted for the murder of the city's hero, he hasn't been seen. You know who else hasn't been seen in 8 years? Bruce Wayne. Because nothing says I'm not Batman like first appearing in Gotham around the same time as Batman and then coincidentally stopping to make public appearances around the same time that Batman disappears. It's a flawless plan. And the people of Gotham are stupid. 6 months prior, a mercenary known as Bane, Tom Hardy, killed a nuclear physicist, but he actually kidnapped him. We'll circle back to that. Selena Kyle, Anne Hathaway, is a thief who sneaks into Wayne Manor to steal Bruce's fingerprints because she's been offered a clean slate if she helps a competing business take down Wayne Industries. But those people are kind of working with Bane until he kills them. Blake, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is the only good cop in Gotham and is also the smartest person in Gotham because he's known that Bruce is Batman from the moment he met him when he was just a kid in an orphanage. This is the first time we've heard anything about Bruce's philanthropy, and he's still not very good at it. Gordon, Gary Oldman, is the commissioner, and he's carrying the burden of his lies about Harvey Dent. Alfred has had it up to here with Bruce being a sad sack who's still mourning the death of Rachel and leaves Bruce halfway through the movie because he loves Bruce too much to watch him get himself killed. Speaking of Bruce, crime fighting for only 1 year left him with no cartilage in his knees or elbows, and he's left to walk with a cane until he gets a fancy knee brace. Oh, wait, sorry. A fancy bat knee brace. A knee bat brace? a bat knee bat brace.
But
Lastly,
it's pronounced Bunny.
Lastly, there's Miranda Tate, Marion Cotillard. She's been working with Wayne Industries to create a clean energy power supply, but Bruce shut down the project because its fusion reactor could be turned into a nuclear bomb in the wrong hands. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, I think that's all the major players. So Bane shows up in the sewers of Gotham with an army. For some reason, the commissioner of the police chases an armed men into the sewer, only to be knocked out and thrown into the spillway. Blake saves him and is promoted to detective. Gordon tells him that Bane is in the sewers. Blake goes to Bruce and says, "We need Batman." And Bruce, after 8 years of being a hermit, decides to leave the manor. He confronts Selina about stealing his mother's pearls, also meets with Lucius to get back in the game. Bane attacks the stock exchange. Batman shows up, but remember, he's a wanted criminal now, so he actually draws attention away from Bane's men, and that's what causes Alfred to be like, "Master Wayne, you're an idiot." And then he leaves. Bruce convinces Catwoman to help him find Bane, but it turns out she was kind of working for Bane, sort of, and then Bane says, "You're merely adopted to that. I was born to it, molded by it." I kind of went Michael Caine there.
It was Michael Bain.
And Michael Bain. And he breaks Bruce's back. Oh, and he knows that Batman and Bruce are the same person, and Bane used to be part of the League of Shadows from the first movie, but Ra's al Ghul kicked him out. So Bane banishes Bruce to, well, that's a hard sentence to say. Bane banishes Bruce to the prison hole he escaped from and makes him watch as he burns Gotham to the ground to fulfill Raz's plan. And then, get this. Everybody says the timeline doesn't make sense in this movie. But if you pay attention, they explain it all. Bane turns the fusion reactor into a bomb, which, with the help of the scientist from earlier, pulls it out of the thingy thing and says it will decay and explode in about 5 months. Bane traps most of the police force underground. 3 months in, the U.S. government tries to sneak in some people to do some recon, but they are killed and hanged publicly. Meanwhile, Bruce is being mended back to health and strengthening his body. I looked it up. The majority of spine fractures take up to 12 weeks to heal, so it lines up. It takes Bruce an additional 2 months to fully get the strength and climb out of the hole and make his way back to Gotham. He shows up the day before the bomb is going to explode and sets into motion a plan to fight and take Gotham back. At this point, Bane reads a letter from Gordon that talks about his lies about keeping the truth about
Harvey Dent.
Thank you, Harvey Dent. I didn't have the name written about Harvey Dent. And Blake calls Gordon out on his BS, even though he kind of already knew about it the whole time. But I think it actually is enough to finally get Gordon to do better. Anyway, a big fight breaks out between Bane's men and the army of police. Bruce is about to defeat Bane when he's betrayed by Miranda, who is actually Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. At this point, Bane becomes a boring henchman who, after everything, meets his demise by getting shot by Catwoman, which is supposed to be this big moment for her, but kind of lands flat because that's how they defeat Bane. Anyway, they have 11 minutes to get the bomb back into the reactor to defuse it. Batman chases Talia through the city in the Bat, a weird Batwing wannabe, and she crashes and sets the reactor to flood. So Batman flies the bomb over the ocean and it explodes, sacrificing himself for the city he loved. But he's not dead. He just ran away to Italy with Selina, and Blake's legal name is Robin. And Bruce left the legacy of Batman to him. Hooray!
Hurrah! That may have been the fastest one.
I was like, I cannot write out every single thing that happens in this movie.
It's a lot. Alrighty. So, what did you think of the film overall?
What did you think of the film overall? I don't know. It was very aggressive. I apologize.
I'm feeling some animosity here. It's not as bad as I remember it.
Yes, I agree.
And I'm going to say this, and after your recap, it's going to sound like I'm being an asshole. It's the better written one of the three.
It totally is. I was thinking the same thing.
It's convoluted as hell, but somehow it makes more sense than any of than Batman Begins or The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the bomb makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have an issue with the bomb.
Mm-mm.
Bruce's healing kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Him getting to Gotham that quickly, not as much. Some of the things Bane doesn't make sense as far as plot wise. You know, we have something in America where we are supposed to. If you hear my fan, I'm sorry, but I'm in my garage and it's hot. I can kind of hear it in my headphones. I don't know if it's going through in the mic, but we have this thing in America where from the get-go, there's been this. I'm going to sound very like I'm either going to make an enemy or a friend. There's no medium. Where there's this thing where like people have to respect cops. I'm trying to figure out, one, where that came from, because from the news, not that great. But then two, when you're making a movie, you can make them any way you want. So you can make like a good police department, good cops, even in a slurry of bad cops, as Gotham City is portrayed in Batman Begins. The cops suck so bad in this movie that it's unfathomable that I don't know how you're supposed to root for them in the slightest. And I kind of hate it.
You know what I just realized?
What?
Because we've discussed this in the past of like, I don't think we've watched a single movie where the cops are good.
Right.
In all the movies that we've watched. The two times that I can think of where we have a good cop, they leave the police force at the end of the movie.
Right. Because the system's broken. In real life, the system is broken. If you don't know the history of policing, I recommend you look it up. Because policing originally started as slave hunters, and it started as union busting. And in Portland, Oregon, I think Portland, Oregon was the first like municipal police force. And they were like super racist, like really racist. So historically, not great. No one has really done anything to reform the system. I know I'm getting into things that aren't necessarily the movie, but we fall into this thing that there's supposed to be a redemption arc for the GCPD. It's undeserved. I don't get it. One, either because everything they're bad at, they're not really like, no one ever really takes a look at the problem to fix that problem. Two, anyone who's good leaves. Or three, they just do stupid things. And we'll talk about that because one of the characters I think is really important to talk about. So, somehow, even though this movie is just as plot-wise convoluted as the rest, better written. Some things trail a little better than they usually do. It's very long. Has a lot of scenes of like downtime. I don't want to say establishing shots because there are a lot of establishing shots in this movie. But it feels like there's a lot of setup for scenes that they show.
Yeah.
That maybe isn't necessary. I don't know. I know a lot of people complain about the stock market thing. To me, it makes perfect sense. And we'll talk about it. What else?
I think this is one of those interesting movies where I think because of the hype of the previous one, it fell flatter on the original watch. Which, like it, I mean, there's
on the original, like the first time you watched it, or are you saying this time?
No, the first time.
Okay.
Like when this movie first released, I think in general, everybody was hyped about it.
Oh, I
the
see.
The last movie was really great, and then they were like, "Oh, this one wasn't as good." Watching it this time, it's like, no, it like you said, it's better than what I remembered it being. And I think the thing that I get held up on the most is just being disappointed with how they treat kind of the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because everything up until that point is like so good, and they treat Bane like so good throughout the whole movie until the end of it, where it's like, really? That's how
that
we're
is,
gonna.
That is true. That is very true. I didn't really think of it like that, but the ending is super rushed.
Yeah.
Because from the point that
I don't know how you can have a 3-hour movie that feels rushed at the end.
Lots of setup. Like I think that's the kind of the dagger in the story is, or dagger in the film, because it's not a story problem. It's visuals. There's lots of visual setting up moments when he's robbing the bank, them getting to the bank, that whole process, or not the bank, the stock market, the event at Wayne Manor, and setting up Selena and all that stuff. There were like 2 kitchen scenes where they were trying to establish like, where's this one person, whatever it is. And it's basically explaining why Selena's there. And then there was the one where she volunteered to go drop the food off. Not all of that was necessary. Yeah, just a whole lot of setup. I think you know what? I will say, like, why am I blanking on his name? Tom Hardy. I kept thinking John. I was like, it's not John. Tom Hardy did an excellent job. He was very intimidating. And the issues I have with Bane are no fault to him. And now thinking about it, yeah, that ending really was really rushed.
It just was like, that's it. I think that's what we get.
I think conceptually this is another winner in that the Nolan brothers are really good at building a really effective concept for a story.
Mm-hmm.
They lack in some of the execution of it, but the overall concept is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the idea of whether you use League of Shadows or not, but technically a disgruntled former member using his abilities to achieve the quote-unquote destiny of Ra's al Ghul in destroying Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Doing it in a way that is kind of like, well, is exactly like what Raj was trying to do. He was trying to have Gotham destroy itself, and then whatever the crumbs were, he incinerates. Like, that was the goal.
Yeah.
That conceptually is very good.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because it's like from the book ending the story that Christopher Nolan set out to tell, like, it makes sense to have it start with the League of Shadows and to end with the League of Shadows, because that's the bigger story that he decided to tell here. I don't think that was necessarily his original plan.
Right.
But that's the story that they ended up telling. I think the way that they did it, like, it's very interesting. I don't know if I agree with making the choice to create a bookend to the series, because in some ways they leave it open for the continuation of the legacy of Batman, which is, like, again, going with the concept of, like, Ra's al Ghul is more than just a man, but it's this idea that lasts longer. And so by recruiting Blake into becoming the next Batman, we're assuming he's following that same teaching that he's learned from the League of Shadows, but flipping it on its head. So that, like, that's all interesting, but I feel like it does a disservice in some ways to the grander lore of Batman.
Yeah.
Of, like, because if we think about it, and we broke this apart last time, and coming to this, Batman has done three things. He stopped Ra's al Ghul. A year later, he stopped the Joker. He disappeared for 8 years, came back, and stopped the League of Shadows again. So, like, Batman didn't do that much in this world.
No. He's an idea, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There is, so here's here's the thing. There is the bomb timeline that lots of people have issue with, that I think is fine.
Mm-hmm.
The 8 years timeline, I have more of an issue with.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say that he's a recluse and he hasn't been seen in 8 years or whatever. But didn't the bomb project get stopped 5 years prior?
That's the thing that's confusing, of, like, when did he stop making public appearances? Because, yeah, the project got stopped, but he could have stopped the project without making a public appearance. He could have sent somebody in his stead.
Right. Do they make the assumption that the first time that Miranda and him talk at the charity dinner is the first time they meet?
Yeah, because he says something that's like, Miranda Tate, I presume, or something.
Oh, okay.
So they have never actually met in person.
Right. I don't know.
But like, what has he been
make a whole
doing?
lot of sense.
What has he been doing that whole time?
Growing his nails long and peeing into jars. It's a great reference. I forget the actual guy's name. It's with an H, isn't it?
Aviator.
Yeah.
Hugh.
Hubert Humphreys. No.
Why can't I think of?
Because the only thing I can remember is The Simpsons made a reference to him, and Mr. Burns did that.
Howard Hughes.
There we go. I like that they made that reference in 2012 with expectations that people were going to get it. Because I went straight to The Simpsons, and the only reason I knew it was Howard Hughes, or like had that in my head somewhere, was because The Simpsons explained it back then in the 90s when they made that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
this movie's super weird because it's kind of really good, but also not. And to speak on the rushed portion of the ending, roughly from when the police escape the sewers to the end of the movie is only about 20 minutes. That's a lot that has to happen in 20 minutes.
I mean, even if you look at the last half of the movie, that's almost a full movie's worth of stuff that happens in that time.
Right.
Which is crazy. But yeah, the last 20 to 30 minutes just happens so quick.
I guess it just feels like they were hell-bent to bookend it, like you were saying. But they were trying to get all their ideas of story in. I don't know if you needed the Miranda Tate, Talia al Ghul thing. I don't even know if you needed the League of Shadow things.
Not really.
I think you could have said that, like, because of connections to what happened during, he could have still been an ex-League of Shadows person, but maybe because of the things that happened during the Batman Begins, and then because of mix-ups with the Dent Act, he was excommunicated to this place far off. Who fucking cares? Like,
yeah.
We have people getting deported to freaking El Salvador. It's not that crazy of an idea. But my point being, like, they could have just kept it at Bane and maybe tied in the idea of the League of Shadows, but in reality, they wouldn't even have to focus on that too much. Because they had to tell his backstory. They had to tell her backstory. They had to create that mystery within, like, oh,
There's
Bane is the
his backstory. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think this movie ignores too much from the previous movie. Even though it's fully focused on the Harvey Dent of it all.
Right.
But I think this movie would have benefited more if it focused on, like, Bane is what followed the actions of the Joker. The Joker wanted to set, he wanted to create a better criminal for Gotham. He thought he was going to be able to accomplish that through his actions and by turning the hero of Harvey Dent into this criminal, this villain. And then that failed, but he still succeeds because this new face shows up of Bane, who saw the things that happened and like was a believer in
Yeah.
being that better criminal kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if that was the motivation, that if it wasn't just the legacy of Harvey Dent that was influencing this movie, but the legacy of the Joker was actually influencing what happened, and not the legacy of Ra's al Ghul, which, like, that's interesting. Maybe that could have tied in, but it feels like it skips over this very important what is happening to the criminal world of Gotham.
Right.
I think this thought came from having read some fan things. I think even before this movie came out, there was a lot of like, who's the next villain going to be? What's it going to blah, blah, blah. And like, probably what's left in here is a little bit of that and a little bit of what I've kind of come up with what the story would have been. But like, I think it would have been really cool if Harvey Dent wasn't actually dead. Maybe people, they left it thinking that he had died, but then you have this world where there's this new criminal known as Two-Face,
right,
that is doing things. Maybe Batman's still blamed for the death of Harvey Dent because everybody thinks that he's dead, not knowing that Two-Face is actually him. And so you have Batman as a villain, or as a criminal to the public eye. You have this mysterious villain who is dueling out justice in his own convoluted way. And then this is the part that I thought was a really interesting idea, and we would have loved to see it because we've kind of talked about it before, but like when in Batman and Forever, we talked about how the Riddler should be this kind of like equal to the smarts of Batman in a lot of ways. And so if they brought in this character who was like a consultant with the police force to track down these two big villains that are like these criminals, and he turns out that he's actually a criminal himself and he's doing these things. And so Batman is having to try to hide from the police, but also solve the crimes that are happening. Like that seems like it's connecting more to the world that they set up, where this one feels like it ignored the middle movie and was just like, oh, look, the League of Shadows are back.
Yeah, it is. Like no one I know the Heath Ledger portion, but Joker doesn't really get brought up at all in this movie.
Nope. It's like he
terrorized the city for a month, you know, and then the Dent Act happened. Also, can a city do that? Does the city have the governmental ability to create some type of prison system in which they arrest thousands of criminals the way they did?
I don't know. Gonna have to get Legal Eagle in on this.
Oh yeah. I think what you're saying is very true. I think with Bane, they should have brought in the idea of Venom, of the steroid that he uses, and this one is just, well, Bruce, you're old.
Yeah.
And
it was a bummer that it was like the only way that they could think of to make Bane defeat Batman was because he didn't do anything for 8 years, and that's it.
I have more to say on this, but let's continue on, because I think once we get into the characters, we're going to talk about that. Alrighty. Let's see. Christian Bale is back as Bruce Wayne, Batman. Bruce sucks. He's awful in this movie.
Mhm.
Nothing he does. Before, I was like on the fence of some of the things he did in The Dark Knight. This movie, not a goddamn thing he does makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Him stopping being Batman the way he did doesn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that, well, I can't be Batman anymore because people think I committed murder. It's like, no, that was the whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
You use that to your advantage. You think villains are gonna screw around if they know that, like, oh, he won't just kill the bad guys, he'll kill the good guys too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, that works to his advantage, but they're trying to say that this Dent Act that passed very quickly, apparently, made it so that they could arrest all of these criminals without... How did no one make it unconstitutional? How did this not go to the Supreme Court within those 8 years? Because it sounds like they're just saying they skipped due process.
Mm-hmm.
There's a real lack in civics here.
This
Anyway,
movie somehow both ignored and included the federal government the most out of any of the movies.
I don't think the Dent Act would be constitutional, but on top of that, Bruce, his leaving being Batman and then leaving being Bruce Wayne in general for Rachel, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
8 years.
8 years is a long time for him to
freaking time.
Have done nothing with it. Like, basically just sat in his mansion.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
And like, he was sort of involved with what was happening with Wayne Industries, and then he just stopped being involved with that.
Right. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Him coming back the way he did makes a little bit of sense. The curiosity of Selina,
Mm-hmm.
and then Gordon getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Blake, we'll talk about him, I guess, but it's kind of a weird, like when he confronts him and says, like, I know you're Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. The broken back scene, I guess, makes sense. But I don't... the idea of, like, he's not afraid of death, and so that's why he's willing to go kind of just go right back into it. But how upset he is with Alfred feels wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't believe Alfred.
Yeah.
He thinks Alfred is lying.
Yeah, I think this is, was it the last one that you said there's none of the good characters are good?
Yeah.
And I think, like, continuing that with Batman, of it feels like his motivations, at least for when he first comes back, aren't quite right.
Right. Agreed. It feels that way, at least.
Mm-hmm. Like, he put no thought into what he was doing. He was just more of like, oh, I guess I need to be Batman again. But he didn't think about how his actions were going to affect what he was doing.
Yeah. Also, Bruce, like, an attractive woman steals from him, and then he's like, all right, I'm back in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't really had any of that prior to this, so it just feels really out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bruce sucks. I don't know. I don't really care for any of his motivations, his inspiration at the end. None of it feels solid. It all feels kind of quicksandy. The more you stay in it, the more you sink, and it just doesn't really make any sense. Bruce Wayne doesn't really make any sense.
He's only sort of in this movie.
Yeah, and he's not that great.
Mm-hmm.
Him sleeping with Miranda doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Nope. Because they had zero chemistry.
Yeah.
Before that moment, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, why is this happening?
Yeah. I don't know. None of that really makes sense. Batman just felt like Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have anything. I don't think anything new was with Batman. Like you said, the bat was kind of dumb. Like it was like a weird. The Nolan brothers seem to want to write a story about a guy who dresses like a bat, but refuse to give it any of the comic book funness that is in there. Like it should have been the Batwing. Like that's a great name for something. The Bat is stupid. Mm-hmm. That's almost dumber than Batwing.
Yeah, and it didn't fully make sense to look at. Like,
I don't know why it would be called the Bat.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like a cockroach.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was an interesting thing. I forgot what it was. I was gonna say something about something, but I don't remember. Maybe it'll.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
It happens sometimes.
Trying to think about Bruce more. The more I think about Bruce, the more I'm going to get annoyed with it. So let's just say I didn't like Bruce. Bruce Wayne was hardly in the movie. Oh, what's up?
Batman was in the light a lot more in this one. Like, obviously we see him in the daytime, which we've never seen him daytime bat before. But it felt like he wasn't as in the shadows even at nighttime. Like we saw him a lot more clearly, which was an interesting thing where in the last two movies, he's very much functioned in the shadows and he's been a part of the shadows, where this one, he wasn't.
It's the thing of that the two prior movies both emphasized that he was an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the moment for the idea to personify.
Mm-hmm.
And for the public to see the idea come to life.
Mm-hmm.
But they never bring any attention to it plot-wise.
Mm-hmm.
There's never any dialogue that connects to that.
No.
But that's the idea. That's the idea of what's happening.
That's an interesting insight into that, of the idea is becoming a person.
Yeah, we just spent the first one developing the idea. The second one was the idea had to accept the gravity of something to allow for other things to happen. And then people had to know that the idea was just that, an idea, and that the real thing is actually very good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're trying to do, but there's a lot
of subtle conversation around it,
right?
Of like people talking about the idea, people talking about, do you think he's going to come back? Like all of these things, but it doesn't fully.
There's no exposition for it.
Even at the end of it, they're like, he saved millions of people, and they're never going to know. And Gordon says, "Oh, they'll know.
It was the Batman.
It was the Batman."
And that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
But that line doesn't have any weight behind it.
Mm-hmm.
because they don't spend enough time in this movie making that the point. Because Alfred's not there to make the point.
We need Alfred to be there to make the point.
That's who would have made that point. But Alfred wasn't there. He left. He quit. And his reason for quitting is bullshit.
Yeah, it's such an okay, let's
alrighty. Let's just say not the greatest Bruce film or Bruce Wayne. Like, this is the worst. And I'm even talking George Clooney, because like I actively dislike this one because of his motivations. And George Clooney's Bruce was just George Clooney. So like, it's not Bruce, but also I don't have any ill will towards George Clooney per se. All right. Tom Hardy as Bane. Bane as an idea, as a character played, is great. As a villain, he's very good. He doesn't make any sense, though. Simply because they build this black... That was about to sound really weird. They build this backstory. Blackula. I don't know what I was going to say, but backstory where, the mystery is he this child? Is he not this child? Blah, blah, blah. And then we find out, oh no, he was the helper who got beat to hell and is permanently in pain and technically disabled, I guess. Permanently injured. Let's say that. Permanently injured in some way, shape, or form. So he has this mask, and this mask is working as like an anesthetic, I guess, or just painkiller. It somehow holds the pain back. So one, they never really explain that, because there's no way a mask can do that. And then two, this is where it gets really weird for me. They make the whole story that Bruce is old. That's essentially what they're saying. He's like, you're old. I don't know where the word cripple stands in, so I will just say he's unable to do the things he could do because of injury. Yada, yada, yada. But this Bane, he's fast. He's vicious. I don't remember if Alfred says he's young, but he like fight. How old are they saying that Miranda is?
I didn't even think about that until you started talking about this.
Because Bane is well into his 40s.
Because Bane would have been trained before Bruce.
He would have been trained before Bruce. He would have been trained when Miranda was... How old was she in the prison? Like, she was adolescent at best. I would say before 13. So somewhere between 9 and 11. That's where I'm placing her age. Somewhere between 9 and 11. She's grown up in this cage. She escapes the prison. She finds her father. Who knows how long that was, but it was still long enough that he was still healing from it. He is then trained, and judging from his size, because they use Tom Hardy, and even his face, I guess, you could kindly assume that he's in his 20s. So even if Miranda is only 30, I'm going to give her that, because Bruce is supposed to be in his 40s by now. No. How old? It's 38. He's 38. Because remember, you said he started when he was like 28?
That's true. Yeah, I think wasn't it his 30th birthday
Right.
in Batman Begins, and
So
then a year later, so he's probably like
he's 40.
maybe 40. Yeah.
And let's see. I'm going to do the math. And as a reminder, yes, we understand that movie magic does not necessarily line up with the actual age of a person.
Mm-hmm.
But when she filmed this, she was 36.
She's a year younger than Christian Bale.
Yeah. And so I'm going to give them some credit and say that she's 30.
Mm-hmm.
That is still roughly 18 years since Bane was released from the prison.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got to be almost 50.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
So the idea that he is this like ferocious fighter and all this stuff doesn't make any sense.
It would have made more sense if the 8 years didn't happen, or 2, that Ra's al Ghul didn't die in Batman Begins, and then this was like the people that he trained after.
Right. Which they could have done because go to sneeze. Bruce says something that just pissed me the hell off. I saw you die. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
You saw the
train explode. You saw the train crash. There's never a point where you say the body was found. No one ever, they don't make a story point. We don't see it where it's like train crashes, body of international criminal, Descartes was found.
Yeah, I almost wish they didn't have him fade out at the end of that scene. Like, what if it was actually Ra's al Ghul in the prison being like, you thought you could get rid of me?
I think that would have been better.
That would have been better.
I think they would have, but I do think that maybe the Nolan brothers thought that resurrecting Ra's al Ghul was too far into like comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's a the whole Christopher Nolan fandom and all these people, including them, I guess, a little bit of, this more serious side of sci-fi. And the reality is it's sci-fi. Screw you guys. Like, it's fake. It's all pretend. You can have things that don't make sense, and it's okay. I honestly don't, even in the world that they've built, I don't think having Ra's al Ghul come back would be that crazy, because we saw the train crash, we saw the train explode. He wasn't dead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think he was fully injured. Did he break a foot or something? I don't remember.
For what? For the
in
train?
The train. Did Batman injure him in a way that wouldn't have made him possible to like jump out?
I don't remember.
We just assume that based on his reaction, he accepts his death.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not.
They could have easily made it not happen. I don't think anybody would have been like, "Oh, they brought Ra's back." They'd be like, "What? They did it." They like,
yeah.
It would have made his character arc better.
You know what they could have even done? They could have made it so that Bane was the one who did it. Bane was the one who rescued him.
Mm.
And so Bane is like the second in command. He's the lieutenant.
Mm.
And you could have just, I really think they should have brought the Venom into it. Like, Venom would have been the thing to really hold it together, because you could have said that both him and Raj were injured in some way in the accident, and because they're really into drugs. I mean, technically, like, through that, they were able to develop this venom or this Lazarus serum that keeps them going.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could have just literally had the same, you know what you could have had at the end where he's doing this venom, this stuff instead of Catwoman shooting him, he just has a heart attack. That's more believable than anything else. His heart's just like, I can't handle it. Because that's what would happen to Bane. The comic book version of Bane would just have a heart attack because there's no way your body could handle that. Yeah. So Tom Hardy's great. His character just doesn't. And I say this in his backstory and his end doesn't make sense. Everything in between, aces.
Yeah, like him at the beginning of the movie.
Oh man, that scene is so cool.
It's so cool, like getting on the airplane, doing all of that, and then like everything that we see that is the actual happening up until the end is so good,
right?
Because he does feel, in a lot of ways, like the mental and physical equal. I mean, other than the fact that Batman is basically like can't do anything without the assistance of medical technology to keep him
that's
going.
What should have been the thing that like they emphasized. A mechanized Batman, who gives a shit? It's sci-fi, like get into it. His solutions also don't make any sense. Going back to Batman a little bit. He only has one brace on his left knee, and the doctor was basically saying, it's amazing your joints work.
Yeah.
He should have had one on his arms and both legs. And it would have made perfect sense at that point. And then you would have then had the thing of he could have had the upper hand, like he doesn't deserve the overtaking of Bane. This whole idea of Bane, what is it? His motivation, because Bruce doesn't fear death, but Bane fears death. Bane doesn't fear death. He doesn't. His aim is to die. So he is welcoming it. So this idea, like, that motivation doesn't make sense to the plot of what they're trying to say, because everyone dies. Talia is going to die. She was planning to die the whole time.
Yeah.
Bane was planning to die the whole time. They were all planning to die because none of them had an escape plan. None of them were trying to escape. They were trying to see it through.
They were going to be there through till the end. Yeah. No, I think.
So with that said, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to finish that thought. So he wasn't fighting with this ferocity that they're talking about. He's just supposed to be objectively stronger. And they still could have done that. So like when he beats up Batman the first time, it kind of makes sense, but also how one-sided it was doesn't necessarily make sense. Because the idea that Bane is just that powerful, I think what could have happened was he has the mechanisms on his arms and his legs, and Bane learns that, figures out like, oh, his arms and his legs are functioning faster, and he takes advantage of it, showing that he has a little more of a tactical advantage. And then you break his back still. That's still fine because he doesn't really have any protection on his back. Yeah, that could have made sense.
It's the idea of like, hey, you've have support for your arms and legs that have failed you, but you don't have support for this. Right. And like that
could have happened. And then when he returns, he, puts it back on, and if Alfred was in the picture, Alfred could have been like, why would this be any different? And he could say, now I know what I'm doing. As simple as that. And then he could have had the tactical advantage of, understanding how this guy's fighting, whatever it might be, whatever revelation he has within, and then deserved it. But in this iteration, his defeat doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Not even just him just getting shot, but him being overpowered by Batman doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, it feels like he got weaker.
He got
it did not
weaker,
feel like Batman
and then
got stronger. It felt like he got weaker.
Yeah, but there's no reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I feel like we could just sit in that for a long time. Anything else on Bane?
I know everybody made fun of his voice for forever.
I love his voice.
It's actually pretty great.
It's based off a real person.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off a boxer, I believe, who, if I remember from the interview that Tom Hardy described it, is the boxer was even more like flamboyant and out there than what he gave. So he kind of toned it down, and I thought it was really good. I don't think anything was the idea of like, it's weird. It's like, yeah, he's a supervillain. What do you want?
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He's suicidal.
Mm-hmm.
His plan is to die at the end of this. So like, what are we expecting from him?
Mm-hmm.
For him to be just like straight lace? I never understand that with people and villains. Like, all villains should be the guy from Speed. Or from Waterworld. What's his name? Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper.
All villains should be Dennis Hopper.
It needs to be this just extra level of kookiness to them. Similar to the Joker standing at the beginning of the movie with his mask, even though his face is painted. This movie does a similar thing where Bane walks into the stock exchange wearing a helmet, and he pulls off his helmet to have his mask. I don't think that mask would fit under a helmet unless he had
that helmet was not
extra
padded.
Big.
It was padded. It was very padded. Yes, that's true. Oh, so here's where that whole thing makes a whole lot of sense. They don't care about the stock exchange.
Mm-hmm.
The stock exchange was a front for them to put their information into it, his fingerprint, and do the exchange. So it makes perfect sense. Like, the people who were bitching about, the whole point was to be this exaggerated thing. That's why they went in guns blazing. Mm-hmm. Because if you wanted to really do, like, to really break into the stock exchange and steal that information, you wouldn't do it by holding it up like a bank. Mm-hmm. So they did that specifically to bring the police in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they knew Batman was going to show up, but
no,
like, that was the whole point. So that actually made perfect sense to me, and I know a lot of people use that as a complaint. I don't think that's the complaint. I don't think him going into
I've never
the
thought of that as being a problem.
Yeah. A lot of people were like, he's robbing the stock exchange. It's like, one, they brought attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy was like, or the stock exchange guy is like, it's your money, it's their money. If they steal this, then no one's going to have money, kind of thing. And it was like, that's not the point. They don't care about that. They want the attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they had a getaway plan. That's why they went in guns blazing. Like, they went in specifically to draw attention to themselves, because they've done everything else under the cover of shadows. And then this one thing, they get a ton of attention, and that's them, like, screwing up.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was part of the plan. Part of the plan was getting that attention.
Yeah.
Because if everyone was paying attention to this robbery, to these criminals, they're not paying attention to what is actually happening within the system.
With the numbers and the money.
Or just like a fingerprint getting added to the system.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It makes sense. I don't know.
I agree.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. The helmet is dumb, though. He should have had a Darth Vader breath, though.
What? Oh.
I accepted the darkness. Anne Hathaway, Selena Kyle, Catwoman. Yeah, it makes sense. Anne Hathaway did a really good job.
Yeah.
I like the dichotomy of the hard part about her, but I think it's within the Selena Kyle character is you don't know when she's being serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because she has that, like, character, but the Catwoman character is in itself a character.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really who Selena is. And
yeah, I think the only time that we really see her is when Blake is questioning her of like, did they kill Bruce Wayne? And she says, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the only moment that we see her authentically.
Right. Agreed. But I think that's part of her character. I think she's used too much as kind of shit, we got a hole in our story. Selena. It's
yeah.
like, right there.
Yeah, and I feel like they didn't do her relationship with Bruce and Batman is weird.
It's super forced. Whatever we felt about Bruce and Rachel being forced, this is super forced.
It's like they removed the one love interest and then they were like, what do we do now? And just kind of threw stuff. Because like, why? I understand, I guess, Bruce being intrigued by someone who would even try to steal from him, and also that she's stealing his fingerprints, not his wealth. So like there is that intrigue of like, what's going on here kind of thing. And she's really good at what she does, but there is the tension between them seems super forced. It doesn't seem like there's a natural like attraction between them.
Yeah, because by her, well, interestingly enough, by her standards of her character, she should really like Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I was going with that. But there's this weird tension. Also, her needing the erase her life,
clean slate.
Clean slate. It's a MacGuffin. Like, it just, it's dumb.
Yeah,
they didn't need that.
No, it's just the
she could have done. She could have done the thing with. She could have done the thing for money, or maybe it was some type of thing of, hey, my friend has been in the hospital and they need this kind of surgery, and you promised you would be able to, and then he could have been like, yeah, I promised lots of things, but screw you. It's easier to kill you than to give you what you want. It didn't have to be a clean slate. Like, Bruce trying to redeem her felt really forced. Because I don't think she needed to be redeemed per se.
No, and he had no real reason to want to do that for her.
Yeah. But like she makes it clear she only steals from rich people. And is this movie like rich people propaganda?
It's very
like, are we supposed to feel bad for the like upper crust?
I don't know, because she steals from the rich,
which is good. We should all be like, that's great.
Yeah.
But then when Bane implements his plan, all the rich people get all their stuff like taken and stuff, and then she's like, these were families. And then the other person was like, no, this is all of our house. And it's like, no, you're wrong. This isn't, you're not living in like a socialistic system where everyone is taking care. No, none of that is happening either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing good in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing to stop these people from hurting poor people either.
Mm-hmm.
You're just saying if it goes against whatever, I guess, Bane or Jonathan Crane thinks, then you die.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't want to be there. That is, we see that from the guy who sends them out on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly looking like he's hoping someone makes it.
Yeah.
So
he does have the look of like,
he's pissed that the guy died because he's like, we need to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So no one wants to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea that there are some people who are really like enjoying themselves, and then she has her weird like morality, when in reality that was her morality the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't really want people to get hurt per se. It doesn't seem like it. She's just stealing from rich people.
Mm-hmm.
And we as an audience are kind of like, screw them. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And then Bane does his thing, and then we're supposed to feel really bad for rich people. I don't understand that portion.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they could have done it without necessarily that. I think they could have attacked the actual corruption. I guess here's where I get confused with it. Has Gotham City truly fallen in 8 years? Because we didn't talk about Gotham City.
We didn't.
But in Batman Begins, it's a hellhole.
Mm-hmm.
We never get anyone who's saying, like, we're going to do the right thing. It just seems like everyone in the city sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the second one, everyone in the city is great. There's this moral stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
And then in this one, Bruce was wrong. The city did not do anything he expected them to do.
Mm-hmm.
He never brings it up. He never says it, but the city fails.
Mm-hmm.
The city is brought up with the exact same prompt.
Mm-hmm.
And it fails. But no one ever brings attention to that. That's never a plot point.
Mm-hmm.
But the city fails. It has essentially the same exact conundrum that occurs, but as a city, it fails to hold up because they ransack. They kill people.
Mm-hmm.
The city itself does.
And the people who are meant to protect it hide away in.
Yeah, the city fails majorly. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying we could do anything like as humans or whatever it is, but the problem is that the whole ending of the second movie is that people are good.
Mm-hmm.
And then this movie is basically like, no, people aren't.
No, they're still bad. In the moment that we take away the force that would keep them good,
right?
Then they'll just fall back into the depravity.
It's the exact opposite of the Dark Knight.
It's really interesting. Mm-hmm.
But they don't bring any attention to it. Batman never says anything about it. No one ever says like, we can get through this.
Mm-hmm.
They just accept that it's bad and that everyone who might be on the chopping block needs to run away or hide or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because this movie doesn't end with like the Dark Knight ends with a little bit of hope for Gotham of like, hey, people are getting better. Like the city is growing. They're getting stronger. This one sends them back into killing each other and just like destroying themselves. And at the end of it, we aren't left with the like Gotham is in a better place. Gotham can take care of itself. We're left with the legacy of Batman needs to continue, and we're handing it off to a new person because Gotham cannot survive without Batman.
Yeah. And a couple other things in that I guess sub thought is what's it called? An epitaph? The stuff that happens at the end of the movie that you don't see, it's all off camera.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? I don't even know what an epitaph is.
An epitaph is the form of words written in memory of a person who has died.
No.
You're
I am thinking like at the end of Sandlot where it's like, and this guy got really into the 60s and no one ever really heard of him again. It's not a...
I can't.
This podcast is like 10% us trying to figure out what words are.
Sometimes we sound really smart when we're talking about movies, but most of the time we sound really dumb.
Yeah. We are very much anyway, whatever that's called, I can't think of the word. But if you kind of think about what the implications of the ending of The Dark Knight is.
Were you looking for the word epilogue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Epilogue. I'm an idiot. The epilogue of Gotham City is atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, those families that got run out of their homes, some of them are dead.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to blame?
Mm-hmm.
It isn't the prisoners of Blackgate. It's the citizens.
It's themselves, yeah.
And then are they supposed, now that this bomb happened, is everyone like, whoa, you know, a lot of stuff has happened, everyone, but let's go ahead and just clean slate this and we're gonna reset. Their judicial system is in shatters. Like, who knows how many judges they killed? The cops either died from being found out, the ones who were above ground, and then sorry, the one thing I wanted to talk about how I thought the cops were stupid is when the battle starts, they run toward the guys with guns, and then they're just like, how was I supposed to know they were going to shoot me? Like, they're trying to treat it like it's, you know, the Revolutionary War or something like that. I have to assume they have at least some training that would make them go, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. Don't do that. So many cops just died because they just ran into gunfire. It's so crazy. I don't understand how that could have been a good plan. And they let it happen.
And we're supposed to feel like when Foley shows back up in his uniform,
he was and always was a bad cop. It just feels like it.
Worst.
He was awful. He couldn't give a shit about his job or doing the right thing. It just was
supposed to like tell us like, oh, he's been inspired by the return of Batman, but it's like, no, this guy just sucks. And when he dies, good.
Kind of. There's a lot of people in this movie that die that it really kind of ends up being like, well, there you go. I also don't. Christopher Nolan does this thing where he puts attention to a character that either doesn't get named or doesn't get real lines or anything, but is featured on camera. And then that person is killed off later. And it's like, well, if I introduce them earlier visually, it will show more impact. So there was the one police officer. Let me see if I can find his name real quick. He is of Asian descent.
Oh, Blake's partner who was underground.
Is that Blake's partner?
Yeah, because he says my partner, and then it shows him. So I don't know if it was actually his partner or if it was just like his person that he was communicating with. But yeah, that's the guy.
I totally missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? No. Yeah, Reggie Lee, I believe, is his name.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah, no, he doesn't say anything, but he gets a lot of camera time. And then when he's the first one to escape, he gets shot by a sniper.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, Christopher, stop it. Don't do that. You do that a lot in your movies. Stop it. I don't want you to do that anymore. Don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like it.
Something I paid attention to a little bit more this time, because you mentioned it last time, was the violence. And again, everybody that dies, they die off screen.
For the most part.
When a gun is shot, there's no, I noticed this time, there's no barrel flash.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
And maybe I wasn't paying attention to every scene, but I'm pretty sure there's a shot that shows Blake shooting his gun to like get attention, or like somebody shoots their gun and there's not a flash. There's the sound. You see a ricochet spark off of the metal behind, but the gun itself does not look like it actually fired.
That we can talk about that in a because he's next, so we could talk about that. Did we skip him? Weird. The order when you like expand it all is different than the top cast.
Oh, then when it's in the other order. Interesting.
Yeah. So let's just jump to him. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is Blake. He shoots behind him to hit the trash. He's trying to ricochet.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who knows guns can teach me something. That sounds like the riskiest, stupidest decision you could do.
Yeah, is that a good idea?
And is it plausible?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's shooting a metal thing, and the metal thing is going, I don't know, 20 degrees?
It's a real lucky ricochet.
It's because his gun is right by his head. He shoots, and it hits the guy in the back. That's like 40-degree angle? Yeah. Is that possible? Can you
also,
do that?
Him looking at his gun and then throwing it away like, oh, no, I shot somebody with the gun that I have been trained to use because I'm a cop.
I think that's the first time he's ever killed someone.
I know, because he's a rookie. They call him a rookie. He does things that are very rookie, and he gets promoted to detective pretty quick because of this situation. But it was just it was an interesting, like,
it's I get move.
Like from a like from the perspective of like actually shooting somebody for the first time, totally makes sense to be like, well, what have I done?
Right.
But it was just kind of a weird moment of like, I don't know, he protected himself and then had that, I don't know, that moment just kind of stood out to me in a weird way, not in a like, oh, he's now dealing with the consequences of actually having shot somebody for the first time. Right.
I feel like they're trying to infer that, and then they kind of just skip on through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think JGL is fine. He acts fine. I think he got this because of Inception. But all in all, like, I didn't really have an issue with his character per se. The way he's sandwiched into the Batman aspect of it feels kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, I don't I don't know. I don't really see anything
I don't know
crazy.
how I feel about
He
him,
seems
like
unnecessary.
his name being Robin. Like, like that was it's such a weird choice. I don't think he's. I think he is an interesting role of like because he represents this new generation of cop and of like this person who grew up when he was younger seeing Batman in action. And so he represents like that hope of what the younger generation of Gotham had seeing Batman and believing in Batman. So much so that he becomes a cop in a city where we know that the cops are horrible.
Yeah.
And
he should have known that.
and he should have known that, but like I don't know, maybe in the last 8 years things have been looking up. And so he had the motivation of being like, "Hey, I want to be like Batman, but I want to do it the way that we should be doing it." And then finds out like, "Oh no, it's all still corrupt. It's all still messed up." Like, so there is that interesting story that's happening there. I think it was also really interesting to have him call out Gordon in all the ways that you've mentioned in the last two, where he's like, Gordon is trying to make excuses of like, "Hey, I did all of this and it like I went outside of the rules because I had to, and I had to do it to keep my hands clean." And he's like, "Sir, like your hands look pretty dirty to me." Like,
Right.
actually calling him out on the fact that it's like, "Hey, you've been doing all of this stuff and making excuses for why you think it's okay for you to still protect police officers who are dirty cops, and you know that they're dirty cops, while you used a vigilante instead of doing things the right way.
Right.
Like you did all of these things and that's on you." And I think that was a really interesting, like the movie, a character is acknowledging that Gordon messed up.
Right. And that's good. I think that was really necessary. I don't think Gordon ever fully redeems himself from those accusations. Just because he's like fighting whatever it might be, like even helping save Gotham. I don't think we
don't get the full redemption of Gordon.
Right. Or at least it's a lot is assumed, and it doesn't necessarily make sense why we're assuming that. Yeah, but he's fine. I don't know. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is fine. He's a good actor. I guess the problem I have is I don't know how young he's supposed to be again. But they make it seem as though Bruce is like 15, 20 years older than him. They're like 7 years apart. So I don't know. The idea, and I think that's an issue simply because if he is supposed to be the one taking over the mantle, he's not that far behind. So is he really expecting him to do the idea that he's giving him the mantle of Batman or anything of the sort, and any assumption of the sort, just doesn't work in the story. Because he's not a bad cop. He's a good guy. But he's not necessarily good at fighting. He's not necessarily
good. He doesn't have any experience.
He doesn't have any experience. And, Bruce would be the first one of, I spent years, 7 years or whatever, training my body, training my mind, putting myself in a position to be able to do this. And he just sees this one cop and he's like, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He could do it. It's like, that's a lot of pressure to put on someone. I don't know.
There is part of me who wants to see the Joseph Gordon-Levitt version of Batman.
Right.
Like, I'm curious. I am curious. And in my mind, he's either more leaning towards Batman Beyond or he's Nightwing.
That's what they
He's
should
one
have.
of those two.
That's what they should have done. They should have made him Terry McGinnis.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they could have hidden it like Terry Blake McGinnis, or it's like they could have just said like, oh, I took my mom's last name, but my real last name is this.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done something, but like Robin Blake, who gives a crap? Like, that's, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
Miranda. Marion Cotillard. She's a fantastic actor. I think her acting is stellar.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miranda has the possibility of being a really good character. I think the twist is undeserved.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they spend a lot of time giving the backstory and making it seem like, oh, the child is whatever. You don't get that until like an hour and a half into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a mystery that is given to you really late in the story. And then the twist is literally the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't really hold any weight. It isn't really that impactful.
Yeah.
Because we don't get anything from it with her.
I think if she was a character that had a stronger presence in Bruce Wayne's life.
Yeah.
And then
I think it should have been she was the one person he would talk to.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could have brought that into the story and made the slow game that much better, the slow knife.
Mm-hmm.
But
she's been trying to talk to him for 3 years and he's been ignoring her.
Right.
And yeah, it feels like their relationship is undeserved. The twist reveal is undeserved because the relationship doesn't make any sense.
But if it was
the idea of her character is interesting.
If it had been that she had met him, and then even though she disagreed with his decision, that she still talked to him and pursued him in some way, I think you could have had something there. But I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if she was more of a replacement for who Rachel was, maybe not romantically, but like Rachel was this confidant for Bruce. And so if she kind of took over that role in some way,
right,
gained that trust. And
she didn't, and it wouldn't have been like, I think they could have done the thing that they did with Val Kilmer and Nicole Kidman, where he's struggling, like he wants to tell her,
mm-hmm.
and he can't connect with her because he's holding on to this secret.
Mm-hmm.
Then the reveal would have been good of like, oh, I always knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I was banking on you choosing this way.
Mm-hmm.
Then the reveal would have been really meaningful, but there's nothing really like builds the reveal up.
Mm-hmm.
And that could just be me being picky, but it feels like it just, I think ultimately our grandest conclusions of this movie will be how everything gets tied up. It is done in a way that doesn't feel connected to the rest of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that even though they spend a lot of time with the pit, with the prison, with the child, with the realization that the child was Ra's al Ghul's, all of that stuff. They do spend a lot of time doing that. But that doesn't necessarily connect to the story. Because you're getting this from, a prisoner, two prisoners that are paid by Bane to keep him alive. One of them is. The other one's just the neighbor. But there's a bit where it's like, we don't really care about the people who are telling us this story. So does this story matter? It just feels thrown in there of, oh, we're going to do this twist in the end. How are we going to explain it? Oh, this is how. And they could have done that earlier. Like, they could have done the twist earlier. And then the backstory could have been Miranda telling Bruce. So you still could have had all those flashbacks and everything, but it wasn't just some like random person.
Some guy in a hole.
Right.
Yeah.
Because then like his whole motivation for getting out doesn't feel like it is to save the city as much as it is to defeat Bane. Because he's chasing Bane even in his learning about the story. You must do it the same way the child did, without a rope. Maybe you could have said, like, someone escaped here, whatever it is, or the child. You could still say the child, but no backstory. Don't tell the backstory, just this mythical child. And you could still connect it. I don't know. I'm trying to rewrite it in a way, but I don't have to rewrite it. It's just there's a lot in this movie that could have really worked if it was just connected a different way. And Miranda could have been really, really, really good. But she was underused, and then when she was used with the plot twists and everything, they just threw it at you rather than giving you like they do the opposite of what she's saying, the slow knife. They're trying to say it's a slow knife, but they're throwing those things as hard as they can.
Yeah, they come at us fast.
I think the only person we really got to talk about a little bit is, well, there's a few people we'll talk about. We'll kind of do like a speed run. Lucius Fox is back. I don't know. He's just there to be the
he's not
CEO
as much in this one.
There's this idea that Wayne Enterprises is like doing poorly, but no one ever really gives a good reason why. They just say like, well, Bruce, that I know they put a lot of money into this power generator and then they shelve it.
Was that the only thing that they've been doing?
But maybe it could have, I don't know if the right way of things going. Cause I'm like, dude, there are so many billionaires nowadays who fail up all the time. So I don't know if that would have put them in that position. It feels kind of weird. Feels rushed, all that good stuff. And his character's just kind of there to blame Bruce and his choice to shelve the product. And then he's not even really there to help with the gadgets. Cause he's like, let me show you the things I've been working on. And Bruce doesn't want anything to do with it. And we don't actually even get the idea that Fox gave him the leg clamp. He just has it. Yeah. There's no scene where Fox does his little James Bond Q thing where he goes, and this is the thing that,
I've heard you've been having some knee trouble or something, and like hands him.
Right. He just makes it's just exposition to why all of the equipment is in one place. Which, come on, and Fox.
How he gets the bat.
Right. Alfred. What the hell, dude? This guy he's such a He's such a fish out of water, just flip-flopping around. Because he's like, hey, I'll support you, but I don't think you should do this because I think you're going to kill yourself. To, hey, man, you got to endure this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he doesn't endure it. And now he's like, man, you're going to kill yourself. Pick a side, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
in the scope of this movie, he makes sense. But when you put his motivation throughout the whole scope of the 3 movies, this Alfred, again, doesn't really make a lot of sense.
mm-hmm.
And then him choosing to leave just feels like a weird cop-out. Like, I don't understand that choice.
I feel like Alfred would never do that.
Yeah, I don't think Alfred would. Alfred, in the comic books, spoilers, he's been killed. But in the line of duty of the service of Bruce Wayne and the Wayne families. Like, he didn't just, like, get hit by a car randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Someone killed him to get at Bruce because Alfred was still there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, man. It's crazy to think that Alfred would just be like, look, I messed up, but you're going to really screw things up. So I'm going to leave, and that should be enough to convince you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what in the last 35 years, 36 years of this man's life would convince you that he is going to put his beliefs aside for you?
Yeah.
He's done nothing. He disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
He spited you for caring for him. Then he brought you along in this journey and still put his own beliefs before you, to the point that you had to, like, find the middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to leave?
Alfred did better.
Say again?
I said Alfred deserved better. I don't
He
agree
definitely
with
deserved better.
Him leaving in this one, but also he deserved a better Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. And Bruce's response to Alfred when he tells him that Rachel wrote a letter and chose Harvey, and for Bruce to go, essentially, you're lying to me to make me stop, is pretty disgusting. Is wild. It's just wild.
Mm-hmm.
Alfred has thus far only been the truest of characters for you.
Mm-hmm.
And yet this is the moment you're going to be like, you lying piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that I didn't like their relationship in this one, really.
No. And then the ending of him being like, I failed you. And then going to the same place, which is like, how did you get money? How are you still going to this place? And then
He's saved money over the years.
But then him still doing it, I don't know. That feels weird. I don't know how it feels weird, but it feels weird. Anyway, Foley, awful. What a crummy character.
Mm-hmm.
Daggett, awful. What a crummy character. But I also kind of like him being used to show Bane's intensity.
Mm-hmm.
Going back on the violence and Bane thing, he shouldn't snap anyone's neck. Christopher Nolan should never show people getting their neck snapped. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look good. He snaps Daggett's neck and Pavel's neck, and neither one looks particularly good on camera.
It's hard to do that and make it look good.
There's a way that camera movements and adding a sound effect and the choreography, there is a way to do it that looks really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard to achieve, but there is a way to do it, and I feel like if anyone has the time and patience to figure it out, it would be Christopher Nolan. But I just don't feel like he figured it out. And that's all I really care for.
Yeah.
Let's see. This movie, I don't remember it having really... It did have a little more comedy in it than I remember. Little quippy lines. Especially from Bane. Bane is like oddly funny. Oh, what a lovely, lovely voice.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a bad man.
We didn't really talk about it, but I think visually, this movie, like, it looks good. There was nothing that was like, I think it's on par with like The Dark Knight, and like it is a good looking movie.
Yeah, there is something I might be being too picky. Of all the movie, it's a little duller. It feels dull.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know why, but there's something about it that doesn't feel as grandiose as even the other ones, even though the other ones are supposed to be very like
kind of like
grounded.
The color.
Yeah.
The color grading, they didn't like
when he's in the pit and all of that, wherever it's supposed to be, that looks beautiful. But him in, because I think when he's dealing with Bane, even though, you know, Bane says like, you adopted the dark, I was born in it. He doesn't really work in the dark. They want to show his body. They want to show him because he is menacing based on his body. But like, I don't know. It just.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, of like the feel of the visuals doesn't quite hit the same as The Dark Knight did.
Is it true to think too that some of the set pieces feel a little more set than they had previously?
I think the set pieces feel more set than they did in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I would say that they felt better than Batman Begins.
Yeah.
But felt like it was.
And I
in
feel like we only
two.
have this opinion just because we've watched the movies back to back. I think some of the choreography, or at least some of the visual choreography, was a little cooler. Like the scene where they're fighting through the sewers, Catwoman and Batman, where they're teaming up. That looked really good. I would have wanted them to do more things like that.
Yeah.
But it feels underused.
I feel like we got more of a brawler Batman than a
ninja.
Yeah. Like, he had his moments, and those moments are cool. I feel like we didn't get any like really cool Batman moments either in this one. We got some really cool Bane moments.
I think
but we didn't get anything that was like, it's not like him going into the tower in China in the previous movie. Like, we don't really have
we spend
Batman
a lot
moment.
I think because we spend a lot of time with Bruce trying to have his moment, that we don't have an opportunity to have too much of a Batman moment. So they have that, they try to like stuff it into the one scene.
And then for music, we don't have to talk about it too much because it's basically the same stuff. I do like the chanting.
Yeah. I actually think this one had more to grab onto. The dun 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 dun. I thought that was really good, and felt more not cinematic, but it just something to grab onto. It felt like a theme, even though it was very simple. It felt like a theme you can grab onto, and I like that. That
I think overall, this one has a better soundtrack than the other two.
I agree. I don't know. The lines suck. Oh, the one that it has 6 likes and 6 dislikes is shrimp balls. And out of context, that's great. Oh my gosh. Shrimp balls.
That
out of context is a really weird thing.
I love that out of context.
Yeah. Nothing is as controversial. Everything else is liked. Let's see what the top like is. Better be inspiring. 138 found it helpful. Oh wait, no. Sorry. 812. Oh yeah, Jim Gordon. I never cared who you were. And you were right. But shouldn't people know the hero who saved them? A hero can be anyone. Even a man doing something as simple as reassuring as putting a coat on a young boy's shoulder to let him know the world hadn't ended. And then the bat takes off. Bruce Wayne? Jim Gordon's ending doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like his stoicness. I understand the idea of like Batman dying and everything, but him just staring off, I don't know what he's processing. You know what I mean? Like, what is he still working on? What's he chewing on? Anyway, anything else?
Nope.
And now we transition into the review rewind where we blah, 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 blah. I think we're just kind of getting toasted with Christopher Nolan movies. Like, I feel like I can only take so much. He is a magician, and you can really only handle so much magic but before you're like, can I get something else? Can we get a new trick, a new thing? Metacritic gave it 78, Rotten Tomatoes 87, audience 90, and IMDb audience 8.4. Wait, is that right? That can't be right. Wasn't that the previous one? Oh, it is. Yeah. All right, 8.4. Tristan.
Hi.
Go for it.
The Hollywood Reporter gave it a 100. Makes everything in the rival Marvel universe look thoroughly silly and childish, entirely enveloping and at times unnerving in a relevant way one would never have imagined. As a cohesive whole, this ranks as the best of Nolan's trio, even if it lacks, how could it not, an element as unique as Heath Ledger's immortal turn in The Dark Knight. It's a blockbuster by any standard.
We don't need to bring Marvel into this. It's different. It's just, this. I don't think I've ever heard Christopher Nolan talk about it, but I think you could argue that this is trying not to be a comic book movie. And Marvel is trying to be a comic book movie, at least back then. There's a little window where I don't know what they're trying to do, but maybe they're getting back into it. Who knows? But like, it's not, we don't need to compare them. They're their own things. And I think, again, this is a good evidence that Heath Ledger's performance was so good that we just look at that and think the whole is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But as we talked about, that movie has a lot of problems, and it's carried on the back of Heath Ledger. Now, Tom Hardy did an excellent job, but it won't stand up against. It's still shadowed by Heath Ledger.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know how to tactfully say, like, or put into the zeitgeist that he did an absolutely good job. That is on him. But we need to step back and look at the movie as a whole.
Mm-hmm. A performance can be amazing, but a performance does not remedy the rest of everything.
Right. All right. The Observer. Half-heartedly, I give The Dark Knight Rises the third and final bat flick in the Nolan trilogy. 1 star for eardrum-busting sound effects and glaucoma-inducing computerized images in blinding IMAX. But talk about stretching things. I
feel like the
I'm trying to
computerized
think,
images weren't that bad.
I was like, I don't know what part of that. Like, I know what was CGI, but the CGI never stood out.
Mm-mm.
I mean, the scene where the football field blows is pretty dang good. It still holds up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a nice scene.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just
I don't know. This person being an a-hole.
so weird, but I agree with the stretching things out.
Oh yeah.
They definitely did that.
Yeah. So we had a B for Batman Begins and a B plus for Dark Knight. Where do we fall for The Dark Knight Rises?
I've been balancing the performances aren't as great as Heath Ledger, but as we talked, the overall movie feels like it is more cohesive. It makes more sense than that one. So it might also be a B plus. I think because I think it's better than Batman Begins.
Yeah, I do think so too. I was kind of in the place of I was going to give it a B, but then I was like, is it better than Batman Begins? And yes it is.
I think on our scale of what we've put, it's better than Batman Begins. It's not better than The Dark Knight, but the ways that it's worse,
is too.
In some ways it is, yeah.
In some ways it is. That's the hard part. It's not better because no one has such a standout performance like Heath Ledger. And the world gives him that as well. The actors who are acting with him, they give him that. They all kind of give him that. This one is similar, but he's not as psychotic. As a villain, he's not as psychotic, and a lot of his literal strength, like his strong point, is his literal strength. And that only makes you so much of a bad guy. Like really. But story-wise, cohesion, this feels a lot more put together.
Yeah.
I have less, even though I have a lot of issues with this, I feel like I have less issues with this than I do with the plot of Dark Knight.
Hmm. No, I agree that from when I feel like the more of the sweater stays together when you pull the thread on this one.
You know what's interesting? If you had
He's had an epiphany.
so if you had Batman Begins,
Hmm.
and then you had like maybe The Dark Knight, that's fine. I guess you could still kind of put that in. And then instead of Batman disappearing for a long time because of the Dent Act,
Hmm.
you had like he's still fighting crime, whatever, and then Bane comes in, breaks his back, and then Batman is gone for like a year,
Hmm.
and then kind of build the story around that.
Hmm.
I think you probably would have had something that really had a lot of cohesion between the whole things, the whole three movies. But this one really is like, you could have had Batman Begins and then had this movie and it had the same thing.
Hmm.
The connection. Like you said, it does feel like Dark Knight doesn't really fit into it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting thought of like I think the thing that hurts this movie the most is the amount of time that's supposed to have passed between the two movies. Where if it was a shorter timeline and the reason why both Bruce and Batman disappear from Gotham is because Bane breaks him,
Could have really
like that happens in
Nightfall.
In Nightfall, he goes away,
Yeah,
and then somebody
for a while
else tries to take over for him, and it does not go well.
Not at all. And he does it for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a year that Bruce is out.
Yeah.
So there could have been something there. I don't know. I'm just thinking all of that. I do think B plus. I think it's the same. It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think it quite pushes up into the A- range.
I don't think it's worse than The Dark Knight. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I think they're pretty even with each other, but for different reasons.
Yeah. And maybe that is where the that kind of odd disappointment occurs, because you hope that a movie is different and better than the previous movie. So you had Batman Begins, and then you had The Dark Knight, which was much better than the Batman Begins.
Yeah.
And then you had this one, which was kind of the same quality all around.
Yeah, there's an expectation of how are they going to one up that previous one, where in this scenario it's how are they going to do exactly the same thing again?
Right. It's that interesting thing, because we'll talk about James Gunn eventually, but I do think it's interesting because, like, Guardians of the Galaxy, I like the second one a lot more than the first one. And I actually like the third one more than the second one. Like, I do think it has it. But here's the thing. I came out feeling more uncomfortable after the second one than I did the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because he did something different. Like, he focused on a different thing. He made a different movie using the same characters, but he made a different movie. Mm-hmm. And if you went in expecting kind of the same thing, I think we went through a whole, I guess, series of movies where the sequel was the same thing as the first one. And Guardians of the Galaxy was really kind of the first time in a while where the sequel was very different than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were still in a place in 2012 where we were expecting that. And it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were kind of toffed by it. I think that's a word. It's British for old Chrissy Nolan. Chrissy Nolan. And but I say that because this movie, there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, there's lots wrong with it. But there's nothing that drives it down to the ground to where it's lower than Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think we have to give it credit for it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And I think some of the things that I had to come to terms with this one is that the things that disappoint me about it, and I think
the things that disappoint me about it
are only things from if you're wanting to be closer and more true to the lore of these characters.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, hey, what they did with these characters is different. They did something different, and it wasn't what I know, and it wasn't what I expected. And so I feel like they kind of threw Bane away at the end of the movie, which was disappointing. But does that mean that the whole movie is bad because of that? Not at all. It's very entertaining to watch.
It's still a fun movie to watch. Yeah.
It's very long, but I also feel like it might be... I think they're in the middle of Batman Begins. There's a part where you get bored.
Yeah.
In this one, I don't feel like that happened.
There was, whenever the focus was more on Daggett,
yes,
it was boring.
Yeah.
Because they didn't make him out to be the villain, which they should have. What they should have done is made him the on-screen villain, and Bane... They tried to, but Bane was too upfront.
Yeah, because they were trying to do the thing of like Bane is working for Daggett, and then there's the turn.
Bane was so...
He's just a pawn.
But he's not, and it's clear that he's not.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, they make him a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
And then they shoot him dead. Also, Bruce absolutely kills Miranda. There's no way that he was shooting those things and didn't expect her to die.
Oh, for sure. Those were explosives.
Yeah. And, you know, they were dealing with a nuke, so I guess there's some leeway there, but they spent so long in the first two movies talking about his goddamn rules, and then he bombed a woman. Like he threw missiles at her in hopes to stop her, but he hit the car. He 100% hit the car, and there's no way a military tactical vehicle like the Bat didn't have, even if he worked on it, missiles that wouldn't have stopped that thing. Like, that's crazy. They could have just said he was shooting flares at her. Like, a flare being shot at a certain speed could have caused damage nonetheless.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. That whole part doesn't sit right, but it's a stupid thing to sit right just because it's that lore. Yeah. So B+. We're done with the Nolanverse. Now I will say my last 2 cents on it. The Nolan movies are not good Batman movies. I think they're good movies. I think they're good movies of a character that's very similar to Batman. I don't think they're good Batman movies. I still think we haven't fully seen a good Batman movie. And I know people will disagree, but I think Val Kilmer was as close as we've gotten to like a comic book Batman. But his movie was so bad that he couldn't move forward in that.
Yeah. I think.
And then this one was a good, like, noir kind of villain movies, but not a good Batman movie. And I say that because the thing I love about Batman comics is they truly focus on Batman and his thought process through everything. And through this movie, Bruce and Batman, his mindset, no one really knows fully, and he just kind of seems like a dum-dum through it all. Like, his choices are silly. They don't make a whole lot of sense. Everything is very, like, surface level. Even his spiel with the Joker at the end, he's like, people are good, or whatever it is. And the reality is, like, where are you getting this from? You don't see it. You don't see it on the streets. You don't see it in your work. Like, you have no reason. The world that they have built for this Batman doesn't necessarily create a good Batman story. That doesn't mean it couldn't have. It doesn't mean the pieces aren't there. But how it was executed, it's not necessarily a great Batman story. And I think that's where I've always sat with the Nolanverse. I love them. I'll watch them. But I don't think they're particularly good Batman movies.
Yeah. No, I think I would agree with the sentiment of all the movies that we've watched together in the last couple of weeks, and then in the ones that we haven't talked about yet, or the one like the Batman with Pattinson. Like, I know you and I haven't talked about that, but in all of those, there's always something that feels like it's just missing from the character, from the world. Like, it never fully captures the essence of who and what Batman is.
Yeah, I do think that the Batman, Robert Pattinson's version, is pretty close. It fits for like a year one Batman story. Like, if I was going to say year one Batman, yeah, then it's pretty good. Like, it's pretty spot on. Because if you read Frank Miller's Year One, and kind of get into that world, it's more detective-y. It really gets into the mindset. You hear a lot of his monologue throughout, which is very... Batman comics are packed with his inner monologue. But it's also year one Batman. Like, it's still a very young Batman, so it's not a fully, like, developed Batman.
Yeah.
And we've really yet to have a good, fully developed representation of Batman.
Yeah, I mean, because even I think every version, except for Val Kilmer and George Clooney, have basically been
origin stories.
Or
because like
early...
the hard part about this movie is we have a combined 16 months of Batman.
Yeah.
Like, it really isn't that much of a Batman, so it's hard to make a fully developed Batman story in such a little time.
Yeah.
Batman is like a 5-year kind of story. Like, it really is a development of time.
I wonder if they had done 4 and this was the end of 4 movies, if that would have felt better. Like, if we had one more outing of the Bat.
You know what's annoying? They could have probably done it. And not because I want like more Christopher Nolan Batman movies or anything like that, but I just mean they made this movie 3 years after the last one released, but they added an extra 5 years to it. So what if they hadn't? What if it was Batman was doing his stuff for 3 years, he had a villain, whatever it is, and then they do the next one? You know, I don't know. That's an interesting thought, because that could have that maybe would have, you would have had to change the motivation of why he was out, why he was not Batman. I think the idea of Bane breaking his back is a really good, good plot point. They needed to have one where he just didn't have any love interests, where he could just focus on being Batman, and it was like a true blue Batman story. But this one was, again, they were trying to fit all the different aspects of Bruce, Batman, all the motivations, and so it's kind of hard. So we'll see. Next week we are going to talk about Man of Steel, which is off the beaten path a little bit, but it is because we are going to watch Batman v Superman, and I'll be 100% honest. We'll see what it turns out, because one of the reasons we wanted to do Man of Steel is because July 4th Superman comes out. Is that right?
Yeah,
or is it the next week?
I don't remember what day, but the new Superman movie.
New Superman should be coming out somewhere soon after we release Man of Steel. So you'll hear our conversation about Man of Steel, and then you can watch Superman and see which one of us is full of shit.
July 11.
Okay, so it's the next week. So we'll release on the same day it comes out, the Batman v Superman. Also, what a breath of fresh air. Breath of fresh air. Guess how long the new Superman movie is? Don't look. Guess.
I didn't see. If I were to guess, and if it's the breath of fresh air, I would say like an hour and 53 minutes.
Kind of close. 2 hours and 9 minutes.
Okay.
For a superhero movie? That's wild.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I've been trying to avoid the trailers because I feel like the trailers are giving out way too much information. Anyway, so next week, Man of Steel, the first Zack Snyder
post Zack Snyder.
Well, it's because Watchmen isn't necessarily DCEU. This one is the first iteration of that, I think. I think it could be said, because I don't think, even though the Watchmen has the same temperament or whatever, the Watchmen is supposed to be from like a different reality, a different world. It's a different timeline, whatever you want to call it. And the Man of Steel is the first one in the one that ends up having.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I thought we were talking about Superman, but Man of Steel.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Man of Steel is the first Zack Snyder DCEU world building.
Yes.
And
Christopher Nolan is
a producer.
involved in it.
He produces it. But I don't know if he had anything to do with the story. We'll find out next week. But yeah, that should do it for us. And with that, thanks, Tristan, for watching this movie with me.
Thanks, Mike.
If you have any opinions on our opinions of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, you can keep them to yourself. I don't really care. And we'll see you next week. I have no idea how this Zack Snyder stuff's going to go, so we'll see. It's a coin flip. And remember, review those rewinds, and we'll see you next time. That was a shitty transition.